Be prepared. The 222 portal is now open, and it's going to affect you in a scale you can't even imagine. The moment collective focus turns toward February 22nd, the energy doesn't wait. It activates early, and that's why the shift is already happening today already. This portal feeds off anticipation. It amplifies whatever people are already leaning toward. The decisions they're debating, the opportunities they're circling, the changes they're almost ready to make. And you need to pay attention, because this portal affects one specific group of people the hardest, and it might just be you. Not everyone feels the 222 portal the same way. This portal tends to impact people who've carried a deeper awareness for most of their lives, the ones who sensed things long before they had the language for it. Maybe you questioned reality earlier than others, or you felt older inside than your age ever suggested. Maybe you picked up on things others overlooked, or felt slightly out of place in environments where everyone else seemed perfectly comfortable. You were observant in a way that set you apart, and if you resonate with this, you need to pay attention, because this portal was made for you. This portal isn't a one-day moment. It moves like a wave, and its peak actually stretches across 3 powerful days. It begins as soon as the 21st arrives, when people start noticing that something feels slightly different. This is the moment when clarity starts slipping through the cracks. Small realizations, subtle shifts, things suddenly making sense in ways they didn't before. It's the quiet phase where awareness sharpens and you begin seeing your life from a higher vantage point without forcing anything. As the 22nd comes in, the energy tightens. This is the alignment point, the moment where everything you've been contemplating starts clicking into place. It's when choices feel clearer, when life feels more coordinated than usual, almost as if invisible pieces are rearranging themselves behind the scenes. Many people describe this day as a sense of finally being on the right track, even if their outer circumstances haven't changed yet. That's because this portal reinforces direction before it reinforces results. Then comes the final stretch as the 23rd unfolds, when the energy settles and stabilizes. It's the phase where everything that was shifting internally begins grounding itself, making you feel more anchored in the path you chose. People often realize after this day that something subtle but permanent has changed in their mindset. This portal keeps working long after these 3 days pass, but these moments form the core of its influence. And the interesting part is this: a single day rarely changes a life, but the right 3 days can. Tomorrow brings an energy that doesn't respond to performance, so the last thing you want to do is pretend to be more spiritual just because it's a significant date. This portal sharpens authenticity, and anything that feels forced will fall flat. If you're posting, speaking, or acting elevated just to match the aesthetic of the day, it will feel off. This energy respects quiet confidence more than loud expression. It listens to who you are, not who you're trying to appear as. Avoid chasing signs as well. If you spend the whole day hunting for meaning in every number, every lyric, every coincidence, you'll drown out the real shift happening inside you. This portal doesn't work through scavenger hunts, it works through internal alignment. When you're too busy watching the outside world for clues, you miss what your inner world is trying to reveal. One of the most powerful things about this energy is that it rewards presence, not searching. And this is where most people miss the point. The moment you chase meaning, You lose the meaning meant for you. Tomorrow is less about what you look for and more about what naturally finds you. And what's waiting to find you has a very specific intention. Something unusual happens during this portal, and it's not emotional, mystical, or symbolic. It's logical. Almost like your mind suddenly zooms out, giving you a clear view of two versions of your life at the exact same time. For many people, this shows up as a moment where they realize with surprising precision what their life will look like if they keep doing exactly what they're doing, and what it could look like if they decide to change direction. There's no drama in this moment, no pressure, no spiritual theatrics, just clarity. It feels like someone quietly turned the lights on in a room you thought you already knew. This portal has a way of sharpening consequences, not in a negative way, but in a way that makes your future feel more transparent. You notice the habits that keep pulling you back. You notice the opportunities that keep showing up, but never get fully taken. You notice the patterns that have been quietly guiding your life for years. Everything starts lining up in a way that makes sense. It feels like a scene in a movie where the character suddenly glimpses two roads, one familiar, one challenging, and both shockingly real. And that's the beauty of this energy. It doesn't push you onto either path. It shows you both at once, so you can finally choose from awareness, not confusion. Many people describe this experience as strangely empowering, because for once, the what-ifs aren't foggy. They're clear. You can almost feel the ripple effect of each possible choice stretching out in front of you. That's why this moment matters so much. This portal reminds you that clarity is the moment destiny stops whispering and starts pointing. And now, I welcome you to today's comment highlight of the day. It's now time to reap what you have been growing in the past, like a cosmic reward. There's something satisfying about that shift, from planting to harvesting. Most of the work happens quietly, underground, where nobody sees it. Then one day, it shows. Reward isn't random. It's accumulated effort finally becoming visible. And sometimes the timing isn't mystical, it's simply earned. Appreciate you for sharing this. February portals always hit differently, and the timing is a big part of why. By this point in the year, the excitement of January has fully worn off. The fresh start energy, the motivation, the resolutions, they're all fading into the background. Real-life pressure has kicked back in. Routines are settling, responsibilities are stacking, and the truth about how you actually feel begins revealing itself. This is what makes February portals so uniquely honest. They show not who you want to be, but who you are when the hype disappears. Most energetic shifts happen when people are still caught in the momentum of the new year, but this one lands after that momentum slows down, and that creates a very rare window where you can finally see what still has strength. The habits that survive February are usually the ones aligned with your real identity. The choices you still feel pulled toward now, weeks after the initial enthusiasm, have genuine staying power. February tests the difference between temporary motivation and long-term alignment, and this portal magnifies that distinction in a way that feels almost surgical. This is actually one of the most hopeful things about this period. Anything that's still standing in your life right now, the dreams you still think about, the plans you haven't given up on, the ideas that keep resurfacing, those things have durability. They've survived the drop in energy, the return of pressure, the noise of everyday life. and that makes them meaningful. February strips away everything that was only there because the year was new, leaving behind the things that actually belong to you. This is why this portal feels so grounding and so revealing at the same time. It doesn't just show potential, it shows resilience. It shows the parts of your life that are strong enough to carry you forward. One of the strangest things about this portal is the way it pulls old threads back into view. Not in a dramatic, overwhelming way, but in a way that feels almost intentional, like life is holding up a mirror to show you how far you've come. During this period, people, memories, or unresolved situations may resurface when you least expect them. It might be someone you haven't thought about in months or years, suddenly crossing your mind for no reason, or a situation you believed you had fully moved on from showing up again in a new form. The important thing to understand is that these reappearances don't happen to drag you backward. They happen to reveal what still holds emotional weight and what no longer does. The interesting part is that these returns rarely have anything to do with rekindling old bonds or reopening old doors. More often, they show up as a final checkpoint, a moment to see whether the version of you who struggled with that person or situation still exists. Sometimes the return shows you that you're no longer triggered the way you once were. Sometimes it reveals that something that once felt confusing now feels clear. And sometimes it simply reminds you that you've outgrown dynamics you didn't even realize were holding you back. This is why not every return should be interpreted as an invitation to reconnect. In many cases, it's simply a symbolic confirmation that you're ready to move into a new chapter without carrying the same emotional weight. Think of it as a spiritual audit, a chance to acknowledge growth before stepping into the next stage of your path. There's a reason people often say that the past doesn't return to pull you back. It returns to prove you've moved on. What's powerful about this is how quickly these realizations can happen. You may notice you feel differently about things that used to overwhelm you. You may find yourself calm, where you once felt anxious, or indifferent, where you once felt attached. These subtle shifts are proof that the work you've done is actually landing. And this portal brings those changes into focus with surprising clarity. During this portal, people often expect fireworks, dramatic signs, intense synchronicities, obvious spiritual messages. But what actually happens is far quieter and far more reliable. This energy works through subtle confirmations, the kind that slip into your day naturally, but feel unmistakably aligned. It's the right conversation landing in your lap without you forcing it. It's a situation resolving itself long after you stop trying to fix it. It's an ordinary moment, suddenly giving you the clarity you've been searching for through endless overthinking. These small confirmations may seem insignificant at first, but they carry more weight than the big signs people tend to chase. That's because they're grounded in real life, not imagination or expectation. They're evidence of alignment happening behind the scenes, proof that your path is adjusting itself even when you don't consciously notice. Big signs might feel exciting, but they're also easy to misinterpret. These subtle confirmations, however, are clean. They don't require decoding. They feel true the moment they appear. Think of it like this. Spectacular signs spark excitement, but small confirmations build trust. And this portal is all about trust. Trust in timing, trust in intuition, trust in the quiet ways life communicates when you're actually moving in the right direction. That's why something as simple as a chance comment from a stranger or a solution arriving out of nowhere can mean more than any number pattern you could see on a clock. They're real-world reflections of internal alignment. This is also what makes this portal feel so grounded compared to others. It doesn't ask you to look up and search for meaning. It asks you to look around and notice what's already taking shape. There's power in recognizing the difference between coincidence and confirmation, and this portal makes that difference incredibly obvious. One of the biggest misconceptions about this portal is the idea that it arrives with a basket of miracles, as if the moment the date hits, life is supposed to deliver something brand new out of thin air. That's not how this energy works. This portal doesn't hand out blessings like prizes. It magnifies whatever direction you're already walking in. It multiplies momentum, not fantasy. Think of it like a spotlight. It doesn't create the path. It makes the one you're already on impossible to ignore. This is where the power really is. If you've been moving toward growth, clarity, or purpose, you'll notice acceleration. Decisions feel easier. Opportunities line up faster. People who match your path naturally drift closer. On the other hand, if you've been avoiding choices, postponing what you know you need to do, or staying stuck out of habit, this portal won't magically pull you out of that. Instead, it makes the weight of inaction more visible so you can no longer pretend it doesn't affect you. This is what makes this energy incredibly honest. It doesn't judge, it reflects. It asks one simple question: where are you actually headed? The multiplier effect is one of the most empowering aspects of this entire experience. It means you don't have to start from scratch, reinvent yourself overnight, or manifest something unrealistic. You just need to acknowledge the direction you're already leaning toward, because this portal will stretch that direction out in front of you, showing you where it leads with uncanny clarity. And if something feels aligned, this energy reinforces it so strongly that you'll finally stop second-guessing yourself. This is why people often describe this portal as a turning point. Not because it changes the road beneath them, but because it reveals how far that road can take them. It magnifies the steps you're already taking, and the truth is, even the smallest step becomes powerful when it's multiplied. A single shift becomes unstoppable when the energy behind it expands. That's the real magic of this portal. The momentum you've been building is about to start showing results faster than you expect. Repeating numbers are one of those things people immediately romanticize during spiritual portals. But the truth behind them is much more subtle and much more powerful than most people realize. Most people treat these numbers like cosmic nudges, telling them to leap into something new, take a risk, or suddenly reinvent their entire life simply because a pattern appeared on a clock. But repeating numbers are rarely about initiating something out of nowhere. They tend to show up when life is already rearranging itself in your favor, long before you consciously notice the shift. Their purpose isn't to kickstart change. It's to let you know that change has already begun. These patterns appear when a path is forming beneath you, almost like a quiet affirmation from the universe that your internal compass has been pointing in the right direction this entire time. They're signals that alignment is already happening in the background. Maybe you made a decision weeks ago that didn't feel like a big deal, but it subtly altered your trajectory. Maybe you've been thinking differently, responding differently, showing up differently, and it's creating a ripple effect you haven't fully recognized yet. The repeating numbers are simply echoing that progress, saying, yes, keep going. The most comforting part is that these numbers don't demand anything from you. And if you're still here, still listening, thank you. In a world overflowing with distractions, the fact that you stayed all the way through says something about where you are on your path right now. It tells me you're not just curious about this portal. You're actually ready for what it's trying to highlight in your life. And no matter what unfolds, remember this. Portals don't choose people. People choose their path. And you're choosing yours right now. Whatever comes next, let it meet you gently. Let it surprise you. Let it support you in ways you didn't expect. There is real hope in what's ahead, and you're walking into it already.